Howdy everyone, y'all must be Voltage, and I'm directed to Sammy Lawrence versus Vanny, FNAF versus Bendy and the Ink Machine. This is another Death Arena video, and the fifth one straight, surprisingly, because he's done matchups I'm honestly interested in a little bit. So, woohoo, let's go! Better do that. Pepsi Man. Fun fact, you gave the wrong weapons to that turtle. Because that looked like Leo, but he fights with katanas, not sais. Woohoo! Let's let the showdown start.
There are three types of reactions people have when witnessing a greater evil. Typically, most people will either fear and run from it, or they will stand to fight against it. Although there is a third group of people that tend to embrace the darker side of themselves, those that embrace evil. Whether it be through manipulation, the corruption of one's mind, or sheer insanity, some people are just destined to join the side of evil. Sammy Lawrence, the Ink Demon's cultist. Vanessa, the security guard turned psychopath. These two were once normal people that turned into killers for the greater evil of their world. Although for this fight we will only be focusing on them, that means no animatronics or ink demons for them to call upon. We will solely rely on their own subsets of skills. With that, today we will see which killer is the most...
Then adding that into play, I don't know a lot about Sammy Lawrence, but he falls to the whack axe at the player rocks, which honestly is not that impressive then, to my knowledge. Vanny had to get ripped apart by a lot of animatronics coming for her butt cheeks, or just going to Princess Quest and taking down the glitch trap virus instead of her brain.
Proficient at their job and who does a better job appeasing the demons they worship. Today we find out who will survive in the arena of death.
Yes, who does start this arena of death.
Freddy Fazbear's Entertainment is a place filled with controversy, violence, murders, death, and despite it all, it always finds a way to crawl back.
She's smart.
Ever since 1983, the deaths of children and adults alike plagued the name of the established franchise. Despite it all, they found a way to obtain training simulators which acted like games and convinced a beta tester to test their systems in 5 nights at Freddy's.
Poor Vanessa.
This beta tester is known as Vanessa. This turned out to be the biggest mistake of her life, as the beta test held a deadly virus, one that took the form of a rabbit and took control of the game's code.
Glitch Trap.
This virus is named Glitch Trap, and it so happens that this virus is actually the digital consciousness of the oh-so-famous mass serial killer turned zombie animatronic computer virus, William Afton. Ah yes, William Afton is back. It wasn't even 2 episodes ago since he was last featured and he still finds a way to come back. If that isn't in character, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
after Afton's takeover of
he
Vanessa,
ended up murdering Michael Afton. not Michael Afton, Michael Myers.
Of Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, where she proceeded to be responsible for the disappearances of several children and adults, aiding in Afton's plan. She was also forced to don a white bunny suit, after years of being under Afton's control.
The spray for her
began to linger between sanity and insanity.
It's pretty bad spray, I'm gonna be honest.
She has a desire to fight back, evident by her secret office, but at the same time, whether she can truly come back from this, is left to the unknown. Vanny, when hired to work at the Mega Pizzaplex, trained to be a security guard. She naturally has some level of physical prowess that allows her to succeed in her job, let alone be able to overpower both children and adults. Other than that, she really has no remarkable feats of power other than being able to easily kill Gregory. If we were to scale her to the animatronics though, she could possibly reach levels of skull-crushing feats, shaking the room with their footsteps alone, and the dismantling of robotic limbs with some weighing several tons, although she was also torn apart in one of the endings so she doesn't scale all too well, only to a certain degree. Vanny on the other hand is remarkably fast, compared to Freddy who can cross the entire mall no matter where he is in the span of a few seconds, which makes up over 600 feet. Assuming we grab the fastest possible travel time, Freddy is moving over 100 miles per hour. Chica has similar speed feats where she can cross a 30 feet threshold in 0.5 seconds, which would be 40 miles per hour.
Jeez.
As a security guard, she possesses the typical gear you would see: a baton, flashlight, pepper spray, a taser, walkie-talkie, you know the usual. As Vanny though, she will also brandish a knife for rather obvious purposes. Vanny also possesses weird powers. Whenever she is around people like Gregory, she has a passive distortion effect that will mess with her target's senses like eyesight and hearing. She
Yeah.
uses to distort the senses of others like appear invisible to the animatronics and inducing static and flashing visions onto others. Aside from that, she really is just a normal human in a bunny suit. She shares the weaknesses a normal person has, and her mental state is tethered to Afton. If that connection is severed, she becomes non-hostile. Even then, Vanny is not one you want to underestimate. She will slaughter and sacrifice you if it means appeasing a force even she fears.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, don't trespass her territory, or else she will find you, and trust me, she will. Overall, Vanny is a forced killer who is capable of manipulating her victims by messing with their vision and hearing. While she may be a skilled killer and very fast, she is still only human. The early 1900s was the rise of
Age
cartoons,
40.
most notably rubber hose cartoons. A man called Joey Drew founded his own studio to create his aspiring cartoon. Of course, like all studios, you'll need a team of people to help bring his cartoon to life. People, and an ink machine to literally bring his work to life. Yeah, that's totally rational. This is where we meet Samuel Lawrence. He was an award-winning music composer who eventually picked up a job at Joey Drew Studios to be a composer for his cartoons.
On the stats, like regular basic stats, they go to Vanny.
He was dealing with. He hated interruptions and disturbances in his workplace and would make him hate his job overtime. You would think Joey would have done something about it, right? Well, he did do something, and that something was installing a valve that would prevent ink from flowing down the stairs, and its placement had a design flaw where people would have to come in and out, which created even more distractions. Not the best idea now, is it? Unfortunately, an accident occurred where Sammy ended up completely drenched in ink when the ink machine had a massive spill. This would have been fine, nothing less of an inconvenience, but he ended up consuming a bit of ink, a droplet's worth. That was enough to get him addicted, enough to steal ink from Joey for consumption. How he didn't die from poisoning is never known. Joey found out about this and was fed up, so he did what any rational boss would do. He threw Samuel into the ink machine that is capable of creating cartoon worlds and bringing cartoon characters to life, leaving him to rot inside of it. While in there, he met a being that is otherworldly, a demon masked as Bendy, one of Joey's cartoons. Sammy by this point has consumed so much ink that he went through some changes, physically and mentally, since the ink that now possesses him has the ability to corrupt others and drive them into insanity. With Bendy in his presence, he began to worship him as if he was some kind of god, uptaking cultist-like behavior and calling him his savior, all while donning a Bendy mask and Boris overalls. Sammy, after his grotesque transformation, became some kind of superhuman monstrosity. Due to his overconsumption of ink and possibly some weird influence of the ink machine, his body became inorganic. His physiology consisted of ink, so while he does possess a physical body, per se, it isn't like the human body where it's made of pure flesh. Sammy consisting of ink means whatever damage he takes can be mended with the use of ink. All damage done to him would be less effective than normal since he lacks the human physiology to be badly affected by conventional damage.
I think that makes Sammy Lawrence win.
Anytime Sammy dies, he can revive because of the ink. As long as ink is around, Sammy will always have a way to come back. His connection with the ink tethers
Vanessa's done. Vanny cannot win this one. She cannot win this.
Revive is limited since at some point he will turn into a searcher and no longer be himself. His inky body also allows him to teleport and traverse through solid objects as long as there are cracks, so if mobility becomes a problem, he has an easy way to slip past. Despite being made of ink, he possesses incredible strength. With his handy-dandy axe,
Vanessa
he
loses.
is capable of smashing down doors to wall-sized wooden boards that would normally take several strikes to do.
It'll be a lethal KO.
In no time flat. Sammy can also be compared to Audrey, who can smash open vent covers. Comparing the size of these vents to the barrels, we can see the vent size is 150.42 centimeters in width and 1.83 centimeters thick. It being a hollow rectangular prism, in order to tick a vent that is 4,140 centimeters to the power
Only
of
way
3
she
in
wins is
total,
by
she would
outspeeding
have
him,
to
which
be
is very
outgunned
unlikely.
166,141,1.74 joules.
Because the
Sammy,
speed
despite his
stats are almost the
superhuman
same.
strength and endurance due to his inky physiology, he has several setbacks. He isn't all that fast and has shown little to no examples of superhuman speeds, so he isn't at all fast unless you want to consider his pseudo-teleportation and ability to squeeze through small cracks. He doesn't excel academically or strategically aside from his cultist-like way of thinking when it comes to luring others like Henry. Along with that, if it weren't for his ink body, he is just some crazy guy wielding an axe with delusions of grandeur. Aside from that, Sammy has shown to be a very threatening killer, being able to threaten anyone that comes in his way. Henry had reasons to avoid him. Careful if you spill Bendy's name in vain, because Sammy might just hear it, and you won't be happy if he hears you. Overall, while Sammy isn't all that fast or strategic,
Vanny
his
is
superhuman physics
sometimes
make him a force to
strategic.
be reckoned with.
Maybe her brain
He
could
can
help her
revive
win,
as long
but
as
I
there's
doubt
ink
it.
around, but he is still mentally unstable.
But where's the battle taking place? If it's in
Alright,
Fazbear's Pizzeria.
let's get ready for combat. This battle will take place in the Joey Drew studio.
Oh
There is
yeah,
no prep
Vanny's
time.
fucked.
With that being said, it's time to see who will survive.
He can keep reviving then. You give him the home turf so he can keep reviving? Dude, that is unfair for her. First you can make her fight a foe that can just survive instantly, then you make it so then you bring him to his home turf? That was a bad idea in your decision. Vanny, just run. It's not worth it. Woohoo. That ain't gonna do shit, Vanny. Your bunny ears are a big disability, stupid. That quick as well? Oh no, she's not done. Wow.
Are you having fun yet?
About what I thought. What'd you expect to happen if you can revive
With death so
instantly?
unfortunate, at least she is free from Afton's grasp, even if it's the worst way possible. Now Vanny did hold some advantages that would keep her on edge.
Hardly.
She was faster and more skilled overall, being able to keep up with what are basically vehicles with legs. She can outpace Sammy, who is just moving at a walking pace. She is also more skilled as a security guard and can possibly disarm Sammy and incapacitate him. Although that's where her advantages end. Sammy is a lot stronger and
She
durable
can't
than
kill
Vanny,
him.
so whatever damage she throws at him will just be hard blocked and met with retaliation that can easily kill her. Sammy only needs a few good hits in to seal the kill, while Vanny would have to find ways to even harm Sammy, and that isn't even accommodating the issue of killing him. Due to Sammy's ink physiology, killing him isn't the same as killing a
You
normal
can't
man.
kill the guy because he's gonna revive instantly in this freaking location.
Fighting. Even if you somehow are able to kill him in his inky state, he has the ability to revive, and Vanny will have to start the whole process again. There is also the issue of Vanny's perception distortion working. It's questionable to know if it would even work, considering Sammy wears a mask with no eye holes and somehow is able to see. So would the distortion even affect him badly enough? Even if we play devil's advocate and say it does, and her sneaking around also works well, she still has no feasible way of putting him down. It's the equivalent of you fighting a brick wall that is slowly dropping bricks onto you. Every punch is dealing small damage, but it only takes one falling brick to kill you. Even looking at their arsenal, Vanny is only ever shown to use her flashlight and her knife, and between a knife and an axe, one weapon clearly is more dangerous.
And has much better range.
She may have held an edge in speed and skill with some useful powers to boot, but none of it mattered in the face of an immovable object she could barely dent, let alone kill. Vanny didn't stand an inkling of a chance.
Yeah.
The winner is Sammy.
I'm not surprised by that, honestly. The total war between Five Nights at Freddy's and a Bendy the Ink Machine? There's my reaction. Season 4 is halfway over. Until it returns, Season 2 Mini Arenas begins. Oh, as well as a new story mode episode. I probably won't be watching the story mode episode. And when Season 4 returns, who's coming back for Season 4? First fight. Bowser Jr. I know that instantly. That's fucking Bowser Jr. Well, guess what then? 6 episodes straight of me watching for you, most certainly then. For big episodes. Because I'm most certainly coming back for that. Because, well, it's Bowser Jr. I'm like a massive fan of Mario. Bye-bye.